Good morning. This is the first in my series of photographing inanimate objects. Also, I was prompted a couple days ago to remind you that there is a hot dog lunch at the church. How you proceed from here is entirely up to you. No worries about it. But if you get one, mail me one. Okay, don't do that. To bring up Dylan Goes Electric really quickly, I've decided that I'm going to thoroughly search for all the stuff that I did with that guy, Randy Miotke, in like west of Fort Collins back in those days. He kind of helped me kind of like mix and things that I couldn't do or add or just make it sound better. That's where I did nothing that I want to know. And when love comes dancing through your door, and what's the matter, Nancy? That's kind of he added an element of quality. My concern about being thorough is that I have this like odd kind of compulsion that we're going to get things digitized and put in some sort of order, and then I'm going to find 3 cassettes that have things that we have totally forgotten about. So that's kind of, I'm going to be very thorough in my search of these cassettes. And I have listened to a few over the last 5 months. So I know that there is definitely remnants out there. And I think that the ones that would probably be the easiest to obtain is going to be your stuff that you did for Boxer and for everything else that we did. But I also wanted to ask, on the Dylan Goes Electric thing, there was the bus stop thing, which was kind of tied into, as a crossfade into When Love Comes Dancing Through Your Door. Is that something that we want to put on there? That's the kind of little odd questions that are coming up. And no, I have no aversion to doing this. It sounds kind of fun. Um, I just don't want to over listen to it. I just want to find everything. I think I have books too that have, like my cursory order of how things would have been. So I will go back into that and find it. And I think that just there's must be 3 or 4 of my songs that are like slightly unfinished or incomplete or whatever. The ideas never really were recorded. But I think it would be interesting if we just ran the whole thing all the way through, and with all the missing parts. It's kind of like watching that Beatles video from Australia where there's a couple songs missing, but the audio exists. So they have a still photograph and they play, You Can't Do That. And it's just a picture from them on stage. So you get the idea. I'm mixing, genres here, but maybe that's how we'll do. We'll just let it run. If there's like an empty spot or a click, something like that, and it's the only way to present it as we initially thought, let's leave it that way. It'd be interesting. It'll be like an unfinished painting, like that George Washington unfinished painting. Why did he stop? He was doing the left hand side of the jacket, and I'm bored. I don't want to be that guy. Okay, so in an you kind of brought up a point about if no one's listening, how do we get motivated to continue the germ of a song or what have you, right? Before I forget, uh, we're calling ourselves artists and we're calling ourselves songwriters. I think that artist is the most important of those descriptors. With that said, I think that even though our audiences are slim or non-existent, we create to create. And I know that's true with you because you're painting as well. So you're doing a multi kind of faceted creative process, and that's who you are. And it's kind of like what I was too. But I think that I am firmly calling myself an artist and firmly calling myself a songwriter. It doesn't matter if we get published, or it doesn't matter if anyone hears it. The most important thing is that it is being created. And I'll leave that at that, but that's kind of what I feel about. So when I pick up a guitar, which is generally my, the instrument I start on, and I can probably describe this better by just going over the year 2024. I started many songs in February and March, and I think that I ran them through over and over until I found the correct instrumental break, or where to bring this in, what to leave off, and I continued forward until it was done. And I would even like in the mornings, which is my writing period in bed, work on the lyrics. And if they weren't coming, then I would do it the next day and the next day. But during the afternoon of that day I was writing on lyrics for another song, I would start another song. So I became more of a factory kind of thing, but for me personally. Now, there were songs that I started that I stopped. Not many, but there was some. I think what I look for is a melody first. Because I know that there's a certain kind of chording that I will use. So this year I try to break out of that and to change things up. Now, with SASP, there was a lot of learning curve to bring down songs that I have been writing that are 4 minutes 30 seconds. Jane Stared at the Sun is over 5. Lilac is almost 5. Bad Day to Be Me is over 5. I mean, I was really into long. So I'm saying is that I literally had to learn how to keep things short and to make it interesting and to get the point done. Lyrically, there's phrases that I will fall into, or kind of like word usage that I hate. It just makes it really dull. So I finished a couple songs, and I'm going to start using titles now. There's a song that I wrote called Fingernail Moon. And it was a germ of an idea from my phone from many years ago, probably before Blue Palms. But I kind of ran it through and I turned it into a shorter song that was more concise. And I wrote the words. I did in the process, and I just couldn't stand it. The words were so wrong. So recently I just listened to it again, and I said, the song, the music isn't bad, but it's just the lyrics are just like uninspired. And it was another song that I did called Be Mine, which is from the changeover period of writing for like Degenerate songs in February and early March. It was in that period where I was moving forward and doing things that ended up on Point of No Concern, for instance. So, but Be Mine was like a very power poppy kind of thing, but it had a lot of the whimsical kind of stuff that I like to hear. But and I had considered it for this second SASP project I was doing, and I actually started to record the vocals, and I just said, I can't take these lyrics. Why I bring this up is because Fingernail Moon, I just took it right off my list of songs that are in contention, and I threw it away basically. So I tend to feel that if it doesn't strike me at first, it's a dead cause. It's just lost. I don't care. But I think that's wrong. So, Be Mine is back into the pile of songs that I wrote this year that I'll get around to. And that's a promise to myself, because I think the music is good, but it's just like the lyrics are just borderline like, it's a story song. So it's not like a real life something that I can bring in this up. I'm attached to, as far as emotionally, that I want to push it forward. But the music is pretty cool, so I'm going to keep that in the back somewhere. It may show up this year or not, I don't know. But those two. But that's my processes. And learning how to write a song that's close to 3 minutes, that's not going to be verse, verse, chorus, verse. I mean, to find something interesting, that's been a challenge. And I feel like I've done pretty well with that. Um, the song Knowing What Love Was from Concern, I had written the music out, not out, I played it and played it until I found it, and I have a version of it, and after listening to it in the car, it's just like, it's too repetitive, which prompted me to change the whole solo chord structure, and which made the song like 100 times better. So there's always that. I mean, it's like, well, it's good, but it's ordinary. So I feel that for me, I turned it into something extraordinary for me. I mean, for whatever it means. It has nothing to do with song production. So I think that I have to be very much attracted to a melody, and in the back of my mind, there's the possibility of, oh, there's a great backing vocal idea for that. And this year, I started mini songs with a riff, which I never do. I would sit down with acoustic guitar and just kind of like poke something else. Oh, that's interesting, and then find a chord structure that finds it. And that chord structure, after working with the initial riff, would like bring the rest of a song forward. So just the processes have changed for me. So, and I'm glad that it has, because it isn't easy to do 3 minutes. I mean, even the Concern had most of the songs are like 3:30. On this other project, this new project, there's some things that are under 3 minutes, but I feel they work well. There's something to be said. You don't need to go overboard with it. Get it done. And if you can arrange it where it's interesting, that's even better. So that's kind of my thought about it. I have songs. I have a list of songs on my phone of stuff that I've written since, I don't know, I'm going to call it 15 years. Some of the stuff was written for like the records, the albums, and it just didn't pan out. And I love them. They're very much like what Joy Acid packed stuff would be. Maybe not just these long rambling 3 minute outros or what have you, but there's 12 of those. And I think that were abandoned because of the style, or I don't want to do southern rock. I got two that were like, well, that's really interesting. I don't want to be weepy. I don't want to be preachy. So and all 12 of these only had I think out of the 12 there may be two or three that the lyrics were written out completely, maybe a little bit more. But I felt like I didn't want to destroy the germ of the idea in 2009 or something, and by writing really bad lyrics that I'll get stuck on. The problem is that after leaving some of these songs that I really love alone for 10, 12 years, I've lost the impetus of what I was thinking, why I was thinking it, and I'm stuck with phrases or what have you. Lyrical phrases rather, that I can't get out of my head, and it may have ruined my process of getting that song done. So I feel that when something comes up now, because I have the time as well, Scott, I mean that's huge, but I want to finish it good or bad at the very end. If I look at it and I'm like, you know. So, but I don't want to get stuck in that mindset where it's like I'm thinking about the word, I don't know, impetus, and I can't, and I have a perfect rhyme for the word impetus, but I have no reason to use the word impetus, and I've said the word impetus 5 times now. So, and it'll be stuck on my head. So I making this short and coming to the point is that I feel that if I let something that I like, or that I gotten to the point where it's almost a finished song that's not done lyrically, if I don't get it done, it's probably not going to get done. So my new way of doing things is to roll it through, get it through. Even though you know the song isn't right, I go back this whole year. I go back and I kind of like, well, what can I do to make this better, make this better? So that's called being a songwriter, I think. And I, I here's a question to pose. I don't think that I am trying to break ground. I'm trying to become good at what interests me. So if I feel like doing, a Kinks style song, it's because it's part of my soul. So, that's what it is. Now, I think that even if like you or I covered, Rosie, won't you please come home or something like that, it's still going to sound like Scott and Jim, So it's the artist and the way they play or the way that they phrase something. I mean, everybody's different. So one song done 7 different ways is very, I think they've actually made Stars on 45 like that, something like that. I don't remember. It's Saturday morning. I got a lesson I got to finish today, and I don't want to get to it. And my question about the SASP, I for some reason I keep thinking that it's the P. Yeah, is it production or is it player? I mean, I suddenly started to doubt what I remember, and quite frankly, I don't feel. Or I mean, I feel that I'm too lazy to go back through our thread 17, 18 yards to find when we first fall out of the phrase here. So it's like, I thought I'd just ask you. Yeah, okay. So, not much left to say. What you're staring at is my Mac and the speakers and my. Let me see what's actually here. Okay, this right here is called a Scarlett. That is the interface between the computer and MIDI and Logic Pro and how I'm able to hear everything through. So that's that. This is the Tascam. So I had a great day on the Tascam yesterday. I took something that I was not sure about, and I turned it into something that I really love. So that's definitely coming soon. And let me see. Over here, there's the MIDI keyboard right there. And there's the Mac, and there's Ringo and John and George. So this is just another angle. And there is my Monkees drum cover here that Mickey Dolenz signed for me. Here's my Kinks tour shirt, 1987. And there's Johnny Cash. And let me see. Oh, the Degenerate thing is right back there. Yeah. Okay. Well, I may do another video, but to actually get more into depth of a couple other things. But I'm going to let you go for now, but I'll be talking to you very soon. Good morning. And the parrots are hollering again. That's another reason. And I am sitting at the 19-minute mark. Take care of yourself. You're the best. Don't stop creating. Okay, now I'm past 19. I gotta go. Take care. I'll see you soon.